Mm, hello. Hello, Jennifer. What was your name?
Hey, Bo. It's Jessica.
Oh, hello, Jessica. Nice to see you again. Um, I'm just stopping by. I'm on my way. I'm going on tour soon. Did you
Oh,
hear?
no.
Me and Fangs are gonna work on a collab. I'm going on tour with him this summer.
Wow, congrats. That's huge.
I mean, he liked a tweet where I offered myself to go on tour with him. He liked it, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's like a verbal contract.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how that works, of what I
So,
know of the music industry.
so, I sold my dirty tambourine, and I
Oh,
kind of
no.
needed it. So, do you know? I sold it to your neighbor. Do you have a key to their apartment?
No, I do not.
Well, do you know what time they go out?
No.
Looked into my life and never stopped. And you're thinking all my thoughts are so simple, but so beautiful. And you recite my words right back to me. Before I even speak, you let me know I am understood.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sadie Hawkins Pod. I realize that when I do the hello and welcome to Sadie Hawkins Pod, I use my, telephone voice where I, come down and it's calming and I'm very professional. And then I immediately lose it after whatever the next thing we say is.
Yeah, Jessica's always had a very specific telephone voice. I feel like there was an SNL sketch about that, but like how people
Yeah.
pick up a phone and they start talking. But it would have my telephone voice sounds like this. Hello, thank you for calling, Danny.
I thought that was Bo.
No, that's just my telephone voice.
Oh.
I've never met this Bo guy. Why does my telephone voice sound like him?
A little, yeah.
So, did he tell you about how Fangs liked a tweet of his?
He did.
Fangs was like, "Who should I take out on tour?" And then Bo replied on his Twitter account, "I'm free." And then Fangs liked it. So
It's amazing.
that's my week.
That's ridiculous.
So Fangs and Bo at it again.
Yep.
Best friends out there on the road. Anyway, welcome back to Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Yep.
This week we're talking Am I Understood?
I am understood?
I am understood? Okay, that's the big problem. Do have voicemails, but that's been a big issue for this song with me my whole life. It's I Am Understood? That's the song title. I Am Understood?
Yeah.
But I always want to say, Am I Understood? And I feel like the song contains both lyrical phrasings, so it's extra confusing. I am understood? Like but we'll get into that. First, we have some voicemails, so let's do those.
Nice.
You can always call 402-95-SADIE to leave us a voicemail, like some of these nice people. And this is Connor calling up.
Hey, Danny and Jess, this is Connor calling in. It's been a little bit. Just calling in after the whole Jeff getting fired up about Ryan Johnson and everything, because that's always fun. Yeah, I definitely agree that people being super toxic and shoving things down other people's throats is definitely not the best way of going about stuff like that. People can have differing opinions on things. And The Last Jedi is definitely one of those things. I happen to be in the quiet minority of people who do like that movie personally. I don't think it makes sense with the rest of everything else that was going on, but I think Ryan Johnson was dealt kind of a weird hand and everything. I'm not an apologist. I'm not trying to say Jess should like it. I understand why she hates it. It makes a lot of sense. And then it's funny to me how she just hates Ryan Johnson so much as a whole. That's sad. On a completely unrelated note, who do you guys hope to see in Knives Out 2 and 3? Who are your ideal cast members since those movies by that completely unrelated director? Things like that. Just curious. I don't know. Not a Ryan Johnson apologist, but I don't think him winning Star Wars is the end of his being good. But anyway, maybe that's just me. I thought I would stir the pot a little bit. I seem to make people upset when I call in, so figured I'd do it on purpose this time. Okay, bye.
I loved his gleeful little laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, you can be a Rian Johnson fan. As you know, you can be a polite, respectful Rian Johnson fan, and then you can be the people who just like are out there attacking people and saying that you're one thing that you're not just because you don't care for his storytelling or where he strangely chose to take the franchise.
When I saw the, I mean, this has been neither of us liked the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Jessica and I both didn't like it. And we didn't like it at the time. And we saw it opening night. And it wasn't like anything had tainted our opinion of it. We both left the movie going, oh, that was disappointing. Right? But then it became this big thing. And it becomes political from both sides. And it's like, it's like one side attacking the other. So it then becomes this whole problem of like, but we just don't like the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I can't talk. And so when
we can't tell people that we don't like the movie. It's the only thing that I can really equate it to is Ghostbusters 2016. But
I feel like history has sided against Ghostbusters 2016.
I hope so.
Ghostbusters 2016 is a whole nother thing, which I think is kind of hilarious and sad, where Jessica was actually incredibly pumped and excited for an all-female Ghostbusters because in the 1980s, Jessica was a Ghostbusters fan.
Not in the 1980s, in the 90s.
Sorry.
Was not around for.
Well, when you were 4, no.
No, I wasn't 4 in the 80s.
No, yeah, you were 4 for the end of the 80s, is what I'm saying.
No, I wasn't.
You wouldn't have been 4? No. You were born in 86, so in 1989 you would have been 4 or 5.
3. Babe, I wasn't 1 in 1986, I was 0. You're a fucking accountant.
That has nothing to do with accountancy. I don't add up people's ages in being an accountant. I forgot that when you're born, you're 0. I forgot this isn't Korea.
I was going to say, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Korea.
Are you leaving this in the podcast or are we editing this out?
We got to leave this in the podcast.
Okay.
I forgot that I'm from Korea, and when we're born, we're automatically 1, and then we become 2 on our first birthday. Sorry, my mistake. Anyway, Jessica had
I was born in November, so it's like... I'm at the very tail end.
Okay, you're correct. I'm sorry. So in the 90s, Jessica was a Ghostbusters fan, and she had boys telling her, you can't be a Ghostbusters fan. Ghostbusters is for boys. So it actually meant a lot to Jessica to hear there was going to be a female Ghostbusters movie. And then she went to see the movie, and she was disappointed isn't even the word. Like, literally mortified. Like, the whole hope and dream had been completely swept away from her because it's just so not a Ghostbusters movie. And the point of a Ghostbusters movie is not to be funny. Like, they can be funny.
The humor comes from the subtlety. It's in the character.
Right. Like, the world is taken seriously in its neon cartoony way.
Yeah.
But it's taken seriously. And then the humor comes from the fact that the people in this world deal with the craziness of their world with humor. But then the whole thing the whole time with that movie is like, we're going to improvise because it's hilarious and these women are funny, but it's like, but
Ghostbusters
they can be funny.
Is.
Yeah, that's not what Ghostbusters is. Jessica, and I felt incredibly sad, right, for Jessica coming out of that movie because it's like she had these hopes for this thing that would validate her childhood, and it not only didn't do that, it let her down in a major way. But now I think history has sided against the Ghostbusters 2014, 16, whatever it is.
I still see people online like defending that movie and being like, well, you hate women if you don't like Ghostbusters 2016. And I'm like, pretty sure I don't hate women. Just gonna throw that out there.
Right.
Just wasn't the movie I wanted to see. Last Jedi wasn't the movie I wanted to see. But the funny thing was that I went into Force Awakens with like absolutely no, like, I was like, we'll just see how this goes.
Right.
I had no expectations. And I was like pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, it's like a carbon copy of A New Hope. Cool. We can do that. Why not? Mm-hmm. And so, not that I necessarily expected the next one to sort of follow suit, but I didn't expect what we were given.
Right. What was funny for me with The Last Jedi was it was the movie I wanted for Force Awakens. When I went into Force Awakens, I wanted new Star Wars. I didn't want a repeat of existing Star Wars. I actually felt pretty disappointed going into Force Awakens and being like, oh, there's a new Empire. Oh, there's a new rebellion.
Yeah.
Like they're just reconfiguring this like basis from the original trilogy. Like at least
We should have moved on.
we should have moved on. Like there
Yeah.
should have been a whole new architecture to the story framework of the universe than another Empire and another Resistance.
I mean,
like
get
I didn't want that.
get something loose, like a loose storyline from the expanded universe.
Right, but then I didn't want them to rehash existing frameworks I wanted them to come up with a whole new version of the universe, a whole new dynamic. And they didn't do that, but then I'm like, oh well, they didn't do that, but here, this is what we got. So now I'm looking forward to finding out all these things like who is Rey and who is Snoke. And it's like, then in the second movie, we got what I wanted in the first place, which the whole point of the second movie is forget everything, you think is important about the Star Wars universe. But it was like, this isn't the lesson I needed, because I didn't want the stuff that Disney, because especially when Disney bought Star Wars, all they did was tell stories set during the original trilogy. Like it took them years and years until now, pretty much, to go back before the trilogy, to go back before the prequels, to give us stories set in the future. Like when Disney started, all their expanded books and comic books were only set during Luke Skywalker's life. And I'm like, I don't need this anymore. I want new stuff.
Just move on. Oh, who are you calling?
I'm not calling anybody.
Oh, sorry, that's
when
right.
I get a phone call on the Bluetooth, it sounds like an incoming call. So whatever. That was our signal to move on from the Star Wars stuff. But like, I don't actually care that much. And our friend John Scully, he has the perfect analogy about the Star Wars universe. It's like Chernobyl, and there's like different sections where you can like you can go and visit as a tourist, but you can't stay there too long. And there's different diameters of how poisonous it is the further in you get, and how much longer you can stay.
Yeah.
And each trilogy is its own ring in the diameter. So anyway, so let's go on. We have Connor calling one more time. I didn't see this, so he called again.
Hey guys, Connor calling back again. Just with more clarifying thoughts I realized that I didn't actually say. When I said that I feel like Rian Johnson was dealt like a shitty hand or whatever, I feel like that's just because of the whole thought of, well, I mean, you guys are in the film industry, you would know better than I would, so maybe you can offer some insight into this. But the whole thought of like having different directors for all three of the movies, and like good old J.J. Abrams starting it off and then finishing it because Rian Johnson like completely took the story in a different direction. I mean, J.J. Abrams recently even like came out and said something along the lines of like, hey, if I ever do this kind of thing again, I'm going to make sure I like write it down and have a plan. Because then he came in and did the cleanup duty or whatever, and I haven't even watched Rise of Skywalker because it sounds like people will hate that one too. But it just seems like a weird way of doing the entire film series in general, like having different directors, not having a set story that they're supposed to do or anything like that. So I just don't think it's 100% Rian Johnson's fault that things turned out the way they did, when that's what he was given to work with, and then people got mad about it because he tried to do something different since episode 7 was just episode 4 again. And all that to say, because that kind of ties in, I don't think Rian Johnson apologists have made the Star Wars fandom any more toxic than it already was. Because it seems like the people who hate Star Wars the most are Star Wars fans. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's all of my thoughts. Any clarifying thoughts, I think that's it. Anyway, that's all. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Also, Knives Out is really good.
Yeah, there's toxicity in every fandom. It's just a thing. It's, But yeah, so that is
how much more do we want to get
really,
into this?
Yeah, because it's not strange to have different directors, because that's what the original trilogy did.
Right.
But they had a framework to follow.
And they didn't
That's
have,
what's mind-boggling.
And yes, it is a lie when George Lucas is like, I had all these stories written down, making it sound like he knew exactly what the fifth and sixth movie were supposed to be. But he didn't really know exactly. He had a framework. He had the early drafts that they could draw from. But at the same time, like, you know, they built on something with the first movie, and then they didn't, like, with Empire Strikes Back, they didn't, like, say, who was Jabba the Hutt mentioned in the first movie? Doesn't matter, he's dead, or all these things. They didn't burn anything to the ground.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted. What Rian Johnson did is what I wanted in Force Awakens.
He just burnt everything to the ground, but he did it at the wrong time. It wasn't, you don't pick the middle movie of a trilogy to burn down an entire universe.
It's completely, it is true that it's not Rian Johnson's fault, because he was told, because he was said, you could just make your movie. You just go ahead and make your movie. And he just made his movie that he got to make, and that's the movie he made. And
there's a lot of higher-ups that are at fault.
Yeah.
There's a lot of higher-ups that are at fault.
Because Marvel doesn't do this the same way. They completely, they know their stories. They got their Kevin Feige, like, figuring out exactly what stories they want to tell.
Yeah.
And you hear all kinds of stuff about the cool ways they do that. Like, they go to the guy who plays Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, and they're like, hey, what do you know, we can't do a Hulk movie because Universal's involved in that, so we can't do that. So what do you want in all the movies? What movies do you want to be in? And we'll start working on those stories. And then they go, and they, like, have everything planned out forever, right? But Star Wars is just like, we'll wing it.
Here you go.
So
their Kevin Feige is far from a Kevin Feige.
Right. Which you can say because you're a woman.
Exactly.
So welcome to our Star Wars podcast.
Yeah,
I guess we're stuck in this mode now because we have another voicemail talking about Rian Johnson and Star Wars, and this one is from... I'm just kidding.
I will say, though, Rise of Skywalker, I didn't hate it. It was definitely, like, it was wall-to-wall, like, stuff happening, because you could tell they were trying to make up for the previous movie, and they're like, we got to put all the things in this one.
It was the best big budget Star Wars television show episode I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a television. It was like the Ray and Friends Star Wars television show, but on a multi-million-dollar budget. That's how I felt about it. So, if a Magdalorian, what's it called? If the Mandalorian had billion-dollar budget. So, that's that. We're not talking about that again. I don't even love Star Wars. I'm a Zack Snyder apologist. That's where I put all my eggs in one basket. Like, I actually, we've talked about it in the past, but I actually love all the bad decisions he makes for the DC movies. Like, all these ideas that nobody likes. I love those.
So
I'm getting messages from work.
Yeah, my thing is that I don't like extremism on whatever end you kind of come at it from, because they're extremists, especially like in politics, on both ends. And it's like, I'm like, just be cool. Everybody just, chill. Take a chill pill. Like, you don't have to go from one extreme end to another. So it's like, in these fandoms, you find people who are, like, out there to be, like, aggressively white knighting. And I'm like, whoa.
I think Jessica probably wouldn't feel this specific way about Rian Johnson and this specific movie. I think I know what Patient Zero, the moment where you got... Me just mentioning Rian Johnson last week kind of set you off. And I think I know where that's rooted in.
Uh-oh, okay.
Do you remember? This might be a big mistake bringing it up again.
Uh-oh.
But do you remember there was a tweet that went viral that, like, got hugely... Not even ratioed, because it got likes and retweets and comments and everything. That said, if you don't like The Last Jedi, you're a pedophile.
No.
You don't remember that? You lost your... Well, you must have blocked it out, because you got so mad.
I've seen all of the... I feel like I've seen all of them. Like, if you don't like Last Jedi, you're a racist,
whatever.
You're a homophobe, you're this,
But
you're
this
that,
one was like a joke that was like this thing, and who even knows if the person was sincere or not, but you saw this tweet, and it had like tens of thousands of retweets and hundreds of thousands of likes and millions of comments or whatever, and you got so mad. And we hadn't talked about it. This is only a couple months after the movie came out, and we hadn't even talked about the movie in forever, and you're like, what is this? You got so mad. So I think that's deeply rooted in the back of your mind, And then, so anytime it comes
Well, it's
up,
also triggering because of the Ghostbuster thing, where
Right.
it's like, come on.
But I think history is on your side about Ghostbusters 2016. When you Google Ghostbusters, it comes up as the original movie. Like, nobody thinks... It's like the Point Break remake. Like, eventually, some of these remakes, nobody thinks about anymore, and the original remains, like, the most searched version.
Oh, man, we're going to get so many Apple, like, comments about how we go on with the opening part for too long.
So, So, do you feel like you've been understood about this whole thing with Ghostbusters and The Last Jedi? Are you understood? Am I understood?
I am understood. I don't know if I'm understood or not.
So let's go from talking about this minefield of a discussion into one of the most easily understood and openly accepted things ever, the salvation of Christ that Christ gives us.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't look at the lyrics again this week.
Well, this is a worship song, like flat out. It's so funny that you didn't look them up because this is like just completely a worship song. And
Much like I Need
lyrics.
You, I didn't really look at the lyrics ahead of time.
I mean, I Need You is like a plea and a prayer. But Am I Understood feels fully like a worship song, from the lyrics to the music to the movements that are within the music. Like, this reminds me flat out of basically like a punk worship song, which sounds ridiculous, but I think that this came up. I have to look really quick at the Anatomy playlist to remember what it was. Those Words Are Not Enough? Hold on. Yeah. When we talked about Those Words Are Not Enough, I had basically the same thought. It's like, this is a worship song played in a punk styling. And I guess there'd be a big difference between like putting punk music into worship or putting worship into punk music. Does this make sense? I can't think of an example of both, but I feel like this is more putting worship music into pop rock, pop punk music, right? I think you start in Relient K's case with Those Words Are Not Enough and Am I Understood. I think you start with the pop rock, pop punk, fat wreck, fat epitaph sound kind of thing, and then you inject into that the form of a worship song, and that's what you get for these two songs.
Yeah. I mean, much like I Need You, this is, again, one of those Relient K songs where I kind of feel like I'm getting new Relient K or new old Relient K because I never really listened to this track.
Right. I love this song, by the way. I really like
I know
this
you
song.
do. The breakdown, actually, I guess it's the chorus, sounds like the song at the end of Mallrats to me.
Suzanne
Yeah.
by Weezer. Hold on
By
one second.
the Weezer?
By the Weezer. So, like this part? No. Oh, yeah. Suzanne, you're all that I wanted from a girl. You're all that I need in the world. Da-da-da. Yeah, you're right.
And we do know that early Relient K likes and is influenced by Weezer, so...
Yeah, that's so funny. I never would have called that. 1 second. I'm bringing up the song. That's so funny. I love it. Yeah, that's a good call. I never would have thought of that. And that's so funny because I owned the Mallrats soundtrack as a kid, and Weezer was one of the main reasons that I bought it. So that's so funny.
Yeah. So you really like this song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan. The style changes throughout the song a few times, and I don't know that I'm a fan of that. In like the last 45 seconds, they decide they're a metal band, and
right. Well,
just a little too much.
This also feels like Softer to Me Part 2. Like the way you have the way there's two failure to excommunicate songs. I feel like this song could have been called Softer to Me, Softer the number 2 me, like Coming to America.
Sure.
Or Softer to Me, Am I Understood? Just like, yeah, it has this like...
It should be called Softer to Me?
Softer to Me? Sock it to me? Remember when Nixon said that?
No.
You don't know? You're not familiar with when Richard Nixon was on Laugh-In? And he popped...
Yeah, sorry.
This is very infamous. Richard Nixon Laugh-In. And he pops... You know how... Yeah. Here
We
go.
established earlier in this episode what year I was born.
And we established in many other episodes that I'm 60. Okay. Oh, I went too far.
Sock it to me.
I don't have no idea what happens in this. Hold on, it's a 38-second clip. Let's watch Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In with Nixon. So this lady's getting a call.
BC. Beautiful downtown Burbank. Oh, hello, Governor Rockefeller. Oh, no. I don't think we could get Mr. Nixon to stand still for a socket to me.
Sock it to me.
I have no idea what that is. So, I guess, she's just like, I guess she's the call switch operator at this 60s sketch show, which was called Laugh-In. And then she just answers the phone and she's like, oh no, I don't think we can get Mr. Nixon to stand still for a socket to me. I guess that's like a catchphrase from the show and people just look into the camera and say, socket to me. And they got Nixon on the show somehow just to say, socket to me.
Nice.
But I think that like this was infamous for like kind of softening the image of Nixon to a lot
Probably.
of more like hippies and liberals
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But like, in a false way, right?
Right.
Like he appears on this like groovy 60s comedy show and he just looks at the camera and goes, "Suck it to me." So that's what I think of when I hear, "Am I understood?" This was a diversion. Forget the Ryan Johnson Star Wars stuff. This is gonna get our listeners really confused. So anyway, I just played another thing. So yeah, so this to me really does feel like sort of like a second attempt at a softer to me. But softer to me? Sorry, I'm going to do it every time now. Every time softer to me comes up, I'm going to go softer to me. So it feels like a sequel to that song in a little bit of a way. Like softer to me does, as we talked about when we did that song, sound to me like Relient K trying to do a post-hardcore thing. Like Relient K is never going to be a post-hardcore band, but it feels to me like them trying to do as close to an approximation of a Fugazi or all the different post-hardcore bands that were popular on Tooth and Nail, like Frodis or whatever. And this feels like that felt like their attempt at that. This is much more of a pop rock, pop punk, skate punk thing in the form of a worship song, which then ends with sort of a hardcore, like, you know, not a breakdown, but like sort of a hardcore, like, I guess breakdown, like big old screamo section. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just feels like kind of an approximation of the feeling of, let's do another version, another kind of thing like Softer to Me. And then one other thing I realized is that on two lefts, not three lefts, you have this song, which is this like hard rocking worship, which is this heavy worship song, this heavy punk-ish worship song, immediately followed up by a straight ahead worship song, like a straight ahead acoustic worship song. And then over on Anatomy, I think you basically have the same thing. You have this like, Those Words Are Not Enough is basically like this skate punk song in the form of a worship song,
I just want to jump up and down.
immediately followed by another acoustic worship song.
Yeah.
So they did the same thing on both albums.
If it ain't broke.
Yeah, and it's like it seems to be a formula they figured out for just these two albums. Although on Anatomy, Those Words Are Not Enough and For Moments I Feel Faint are tracks 7 and 8. And then on Two Lefts, this same sort of song structure, Am I Understood and Getting Into You, are tracks 10 and 11. So they put it a little later on this CD. Also, we can just mention this and put this note to bed, but I listened to the gold and the non-gold version, and this is one where I don't really hear much of a difference at all. There's no major changes that I could ascertain So I think this one's fine. I mean, again, it's like just the guitar sounds a little cooler and rougher in the original mix, and then it's just polished in the 2006 gold mix. So it's just sounds cooler in 2003.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you have any other thoughts on the song?
Nope.
So I do love this song. Let's read through the lyrics a little bit.
Talk about Star Wars again.
Let's talk about the original Star Wars, Jesus. Because this song is absolutely about salvation through Christ. Like, this is, I heavily implied it saying it's a worship song, but this is a song about coming before the Lord. Sometimes it's embarrassing to talk to you, to hold a conversation with the only one who sees right through this version of myself I try to hide behind. I'll bury my face. It's funny the way it's like parceled out in the lyrics. It's hard to read, whereas it
Right.
feels like it flows properly in the cadence of the song. This version of myself I try to hide behind. I'll bury my face because my disgrace will leave me terrified. And sometimes I'm so thankful for your loyalty. Your love, regardless of the mistakes I make, will spoil me. My confidence is, in a sense, a gift you've given me, and I'm satisfied to realize you're all I'll ever need. You looked into my life and never stopped, and you're thinking all my thoughts are so simple but so beautiful, and you recite my words right back to me before I even speak. You let me know I am understood. So, I mean,
That is really beautiful.
yeah, and it's
It's
got
very poignant.
it's funny with the rules that I've set down with God or girl songs.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like a specific thing of, well, no, when he says salvation at the end, up to this point, you basically got to know Relient K is a Christian band to know that this song is clearly about your salvation through Christ, and he's speaking to Christ, and he's thanking him for all of his complete forgiveness. And he's talking about how he feels ashamed of having to come back and having to be one way with the world and be another way, and God sees through him and stuff like that. So this is clearly like a worshipful song, but at this point, aside from, I guess, the pronouns, and they're not capitalized on this AZ lyric page.
Sorry, I just took a bite of a strawberry.
You looked into my life and never stopped. I read that. And sometimes I spend my time just trying to escape. I work so hard, so desperately in an attempt to create space. 'Cause I want distance from the utmost important thing I know. I see your love, then turn my back and beg for you to go. Well, that's quite a line. Mm-hmm.
It's bad Christian Thiessen.
Or it's just like God's forgiveness is so undeniable and so everlasting that you feel this is like coming back to this like Christian shame thing. And it's like, God, I don't deserve you or something like that, which in and of itself doesn't seem healthy and doesn't seem right. But this is a very old concept, or like seeing the face of God or feeling his presence and his power so strongly that you're like literally weakened to the knees and you fall down, or it's too much for your heart and your mind to take at that moment.
Oh, see, I read it more as like,
And oh yeah, he's running. So, and sometimes I spend my time just trying to
Yeah.
escape. I work so hard, so desperately in an attempt to create space. So this is becoming like a prodigal son thing. 'Cause I want distance from the utmost important thing I know. I see your love, then turn my back and beg for you to go. So yeah, at this moment, he's saying sometimes, before he was saying sometimes I'm embarrassed to pray because you see right through me and you know the bad things in my heart and you forgive me for them, and I'm so thankful for your love and your loyalty, and I have confidence in knowing that you'll always love me. But then he's admitting that there's other times where it's just too much and he doesn't want to deal with it, and he doesn't want to work at his faith, and he just wants to be done with it. You're the only one you're the only one who understands completely. You're the only one knows me yet still loves me completely. And sometimes the place I'm at is at a loss for words. If I think of something worthy, I know that it's already yours, and through the times I faded, and you've outlined me again. I hope these are the correct lyrics. I should go to Genius or something, or get the booklet. You've just patiently waited to bring me back, and then the sort of outro section is, the noise has broken my defense, let me embrace salvation. Your voice has broken my defense, let me embrace salvation. So it's like God it's just that tug and pull and back and forth between your faith and a crisis of faith and coming back to God and turning away from him again. That's what this song is. And that's especially like these lyrics are worship lyrics, and then the sort of the acoustic guitar that opens it, and then these uplifting movements, and then the sort of like hardcore breakdown even coming into this like softer to me type thing at the end. It all feels to me like a big skate punk worship song. Which there must be other bands, like maybe, you know, I don't know. I can't really think of other skate punk bands from the time that really wrote skate punk worship songs. There probably are in the CDs that I own, but maybe ones that I haven't like paid that close attention to.
I was gonna say the Insiders, but that's God.
Right,
so.
but those are also specifically covers of worship songs. Like I'm thinking, and it's one thing for you to have a pop punk or pop rock or skate punk band that then records a worship song, but to do a worship song with
They had original songs too, though. The Insiders.
Oh no, they definitely did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, like the Supertones are like some of those are like, you know, church and teaching you how to be, but then some of them are worship songs. So yeah, I guess so. But I'm really thinking about like the form and the flow of a worship song as we understand it in sort of the pre-Coldplay worship, right? Before churches and worship bands got more and more Coldplay-esque.
Right.
Like what we understand of a worship song and having that sort of structure to a song, but applying these sort of like crunchy, fat epitaph, pop punk stylings. I don't know of any other specific band that did that, and if they did, I don't know if it would be successful, because when you hear this song, you don't necessarily think of it flat out as a worship song. You know what I mean? Like, I certainly never did. I'm just thinking of it that way now because I'm kind of overanalyzing the song. I feel like I've talked about the song so much tonight that I need to listen to it again for a second. It is also super long. It's 4 minutes long.
It is a long song.
It's a long song.
It's almost surprising that they didn't break it up like they do some songs that seem like they're meant to be together.
Right. I mean, it definitely feels like one sort of song, but yeah, if this was a song that they wrote later in their
this
career...
This is the end if you want it.
Yeah,
like.
they would have been broken up into like 3 movements.
Yeah.
And I love this part. This is great. This sounds like The Decline. I guess maybe that's a thing. Maybe this is like you're not familiar with The Decline, but NoFX released this like 20-minute pop punk song, this 20-minute NoFX song, and it has all these it's basically a bunch of little songs all connected together, and they do these kind of transitions. Like the song will suddenly sort of stop.
When did that come out?
In like 1997 or 8 or something.
Well, Thiessen has a NoFX sticker on his guitar, and
There
he
you
had
go.
like a poster of them in his bedroom or something in the webisodes.
So I wonder if this is his 4-minute version of a Christian decline, of a Christ, because there is like a moment in the song The Decline. I have never analyzed The Decline from beginning to end, but it's a very political song, and there's a thing about the Christians and the NRA, which is actually kind of more poignant nowadays, because I would say, like, maybe at the time when I'm a Christian, I hear that song, I'm like, oh, I'm not into the NRA, and I'm not Christian, but now even more than ever, I'm like, yeah, fuck those Christians who call themselves that and are like gun-toting and like hateful towards people. Like that's a whole other thing. But to be in like in the early 2000s and maybe really like NoFX and then be like, I'm gonna kind of write like I'm gonna do a 4-minute version of The Decline and I'm gonna make it a worship song about the push and pull of my faith. And then he goes on to write Deathbed, which is basically The Decline. It's another 20-minute song, right?
There you go.
Think about it. NoFX is The Decline. Relient K's Deathbed. Same song. Think about it.
Danny's bumping his fists together.
Each one of my fists represents the two songs, and they bump together. So I feel like we've said everything we can about this song. I mean, I really enjoy it. It's got that... This hits me in the same spot as, like, Fallen Out and that other song.
Fallen Out.
I love Fallen Out. Fallen Out's a great... It's just these,
so
like...
good.
Yeah, and the other one I just mentioned... Those Words Are Not Enough. And then I guess one other thing we had to talk about, and this could kind of be a theme for the last 2 weeks with, we did Manic Monday last week. I forgot because that's a shorter episode. But the last two main Relient K songs we did, I Need You, and now this one, is like, I guess this must be Dave singing, right? She just gave a shrug. And this is the thing that
good guess.
I could never tell when it's Dave singing and when it's Thiessen singing.
Yeah.
I can tell when it's Hoops, but I can't necessarily tell when Dave takes over for Thiessen. Because sometimes... Let's just say that's Dave.
Okay.
Dave sounds like Thiessen kind of screaming from the gut.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to tell. Yeah, it's so hard to tell. And it you know, there are a lot of songs where They Might Be Giant songs where John Linnell and John Flansburgh are doing, one of them is doing a funny voice, and then you can't exactly tell which one it is. Like, I know which one's Flansburgh and which one's Linnell, and sometimes they kind of...
Yeah, me too.
I know, you just can't tell flat out which is which. But when they're doing a funny voice, and sometimes they can kind of do, like, impressions of each other, especially when you're, like, singing with each other for decades like that. They can kind of, like, hit things and do impressions of each other, and then it's, like, really confusing. So I feel the same way about the vocals when Dave sings. So anyway, we'll go to our break, and when we get back, Jessica will have her deep dive.
We want to thank you very much for listening to Sadie Hawkins Pod. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram, which are both at Sadie Hawkins Pod. From there, you can interact with us, as well as view the videos and images we talk about on the show.
You can also call our voicemail line, which is 402-95-SADIE. That's 402-957-2343. Leave us a message and we can play it on a future episode.
Also, we invite you to check out SadieHawkinsPod.com, one simple place to get links to all our social media and a link to our TeePublic store.
There you can pick up merchandise, or merch as it's known in the industry. We have our Black Flag parody shirt, our Little Sheet Boy ice cream shirt, and our all-new Boys from Canton ampersand shirts that list the first names of every album lineup of Relient K.
And if you can't get enough of us, well, good news. At patreon.com/SadieHawkinsPod, we are releasing at least 2 bonus episodes a month. You'll also have access to our whole backlog, including our discussion of Owl City's Ocean Eyes, reading through the Complex Infrastructure book, and the songs from K is for Karaoke.
Finally, we want to thank our current patrons, who include Josh, JR, Jarrett, Eric, Joel, Connor, Michael, Helen, Samantha, Roxanne, Jimmy Eat Pod, This Might Be a Podcast, Tucker, David, and Brady.
We hope to see you there, and even if we don't, we hope that you will keep us in positive regard.
So you like Relient K, do you? Well, what about They Might Be Giants? My name is Greg Simpson, and I host a They Might Be Giants fan podcast, and it's called This Might Be a Podcast. This Might Be a Podcast is a song-by-song podcast featuring a different guest every episode, from normal fans like you and I, but also I've had guests such as John Darnielle of the Mountain Goats, Justin McElroy of My Brother and Me, Hutch Harris of the Thermals, Mike Park of Asian Man Records, Franz Nikolai of The Hold Steady, and Danny Weinkoff and Marty Beller of They Might Be Giants, and past drummers Dan Hickey and Brian Doherty. Search for Punk News or This Might Be a Podcast on any podcast platform and you will find us. This Might Be a Podcast, brought to you by punknews.org.
Well, this may be the shortest deep dive segment we've ever done.
Okay.
Not that it was the shortest page results. There were so many unrelated pages that, yeah. Now, keeping in mind, I was enjoying a little sports money at the time, but I got to page 11 or something and my phone crashed. So
your whole phone,
just the Googles and the Safari crashed, and so I didn't go back because when I reloaded it, it started from the top. So I didn't go back, but based on the wacky stuff that we were getting, I don't think that there was any more Relient K related stuff on whatever 1 or 2 pages might have been left.
Gotcha.
It was a lot of those like those pages where it's just the description is all numbers and like the title is just all numbers.
Right,
so we were getting down into those. We do have song meanings though.
Jesus. It's about Jesus. This is the one time where I'm like, if someone says the opposite, I'm like, no, it's about Jesus. Unless the people are getting into theological discussions and debates in there.
On April 30th, 2004, Ragna said _great_song dot simply amazing dot.
Okay.
Then X already heard X on June 24th, 2004 said, first off, I'm pretty sure this song is called I Am Understood, not Am I Understood. So I guess at some point on song meanings it was incorrect.
Oh, okay.
I guess this song is basically about how no matter how much he messes up, God is always there for him and always forgives him. I love this song.
Well, I don't know if it's about that. Just kidding.
Music Kid 07 from November 8th, 2004 said, oh, and what it means to me is that even when I feel like, they said they left 2 comments. The first one, they said, this song is my favorite on the album. I completely relate to it. And yes, the song is called I Am Understood. And then they left a second comment that said, oh, and what it means to me is that even when I feel like I have no one here that understands me, I know that I still have God. And in the end, he's really all that I need. Mm-hmm. And then they added, it's quite comforting, really, in another comment. Upside down exclamation point, squiggly line, music equals life, squiggly line, exclamation point. On December 7th, 2004 said, this song is amazing, and you recite my words right back to me before I even speak. That's amazing and so true. And sometimes when I find myself at a loss for words because I think of something worthy, I know that it's already yours. The lyrics are just phenomenal, and the song performed live is incredible in all caps. I get the chills thinking about it. Did you hear this one live ever, Dan?
I probably did because I have one video from a tour that I know I went to.
Well, there you go. Nice.
But I don't have a specific memory of seeing it.
Miss Lottie Dot. Lot of repeat commenters on song meanings. December 26, 2004 said, yeah, there is so much musical genius in this song. I love how Relient K can summarize seemingly everything God feels for you in one song and make it sound friggin' gorgeous too. This is one of my favorite songs on the album. And then they quote the song and write sigh.
Where's the meaty stuff? Where's you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Marilyn Manson is not the devil. Well.
Then from the Wheeler Register from November 1st, 1887, camel's hair underwear, warmer than wool, no dye, will not shrink.
Hey, that was just a comment?
That was
I got confused
the
ad
that
was
in the article.
Okay. I thought, leading me on. How much did they pay? Don't read ads on we already have our own ads.
Okay, how about this? Try Liss cough syrup from the Honey Tulu Tar and Company. RH List Wheeling. Go to Lashes for watches, diamonds, silverware, clocks, and C. Dot. I don't know what that means. More, I guess. Prices, the very lowest. Also for the best sewing machine, The new number 8 Wheeler and Wilson. Corner of Main and 11th Street.
I don't understand anything you're saying. This is something that just came up in your deep dive somehow?
Yep. It's the archive from a newspaper from the 1800s.
Why did it come up? Was Relient K playing a concert that
Yeah,
week?
exactly. Archives of 2 more newspapers from the mid to late 1800s popped up as well. I guess people really wanted to be understood in the latter 1800s. So I'm guessing it's the understood part that kept sort of ticking it off on the Google
My
algorithm.
head hurts. I can't think about time travel like this.
Here. Do you want to look?
I get it.
You want to read the paper from that day?
No. No, it's too scary. It shouldn't exist.
Well, that's it.
Go away. That's the whole thing?
It's history. That's my whole deep dive.
Okay. Well, good job.
Thanks.
I thank you for your deep dive, your weekly deep dive, Jessica, even when it turns out like that. I'm still... Sometimes it's embarrassing to talk to you about your deep dive. No, that was great. Thank you.
Harsh.
Well, you asked, did I ever see this song live? And apparently they performed it on the Panic with a K tour, which I went to in Orlando.
Nice.
Although this is the performance from San Diego, and I don't think we can ever trust any Setlist FM data when it comes to something as early as the Panic with a K tour, which was 2005. So I really don't know if they did play it in Orlando. But here they are playing it in San Diego, November 17th, 2005, uploaded by Fobinator. F-O-B-B-I-Nator.
Sometimes it's embarrassing to talk to you, to hold a conversation with the only one who sees right through this version of myself. I try to hide behind, I'll bury my face because my disgrace will leave me terrified.
Okay, and that is Dave singing right there. Sometimes I'm so thankful for your loyalty. That's Dave singing, because Thiessen fully pulled away from the mic.
Nice. Girls are screaming. Everybody's going crazy. Softer to me.
So this is super blown out. Sorry about that, but this is one of only 2 videos I have where they played it. It's awesome.
Good stuff.
It sounds even more like a heavy rock worship song live though than it does on the album. So here's one other video I found live, and this is from 2005. So I guess they were playing it a bunch in 2005 with John, and Dave. And this is from Cornerstone, Florida, which I got excited for a second and thought I was at this, but I wasn't. I went to Cornerstone, Florida, 2006 and 2007. Right?
Yes.
Yes. So I had moved, I probably hadn't, this is probably just a couple months before I moved to Florida, so I wouldn't have been at this Cornerstone, Florida, which, I don't think Cornerstone, Florida made as big an impact on the cultural zeitgeist as the original Cornerstone, but Cornerstone, Florida happened at the Orlando, Orange County Fairgrounds. Same fairgrounds where I saw Gary Coleman.
Yeah.
It was a comic book convention on those fairgrounds, and Gary Coleman was there signing. I did not get a signature from him. I did not get an autograph. But then I went to the pony rides, and I was thinking about getting a pony ride or an elephant ride. I was going to the petting zoo. There was a petting zoo. Oh, you know what? Sorry. they had comic book conventions there, but they would also have state fairs there. And sometimes the state fairs had celebrities doing signings, and sometimes they did a lot at the Orange County, Florida fairgrounds. So there I am, thinking I'm there, and I'm like, maybe I'm gonna ride an elephant, maybe I'm gonna ride a pony, maybe I'm just gonna pet the pony. But then Gary Coleman comes by and starts asking, and he's right there. And Gary Coleman comes by and he starts asking the horse handler, what kind of horse is that? What kind of pony is that? He seems to know a little bit about horses and ponies. And I'm just watching.
Classic comic book convention. Come and ride the elephants and ponies.
I know, I wasn't thinking. Sorry.
Now, this is the same fairgrounds where you saw David Carradine, right?
Right, and that was a comic book convention. I'm sorry. The Orange County Fairgrounds.
You are 2 for 2 on celebrities at the Orlando County Fairgrounds.
Well, in this case,
Orange County Fairgrounds.
In this case, okay, I recall now. I'm sorry. The comic book convention is where David Carradine, and they're both dead, right? Like both celebrities that I saw at the Orange County Fairgrounds in Florida have died since then. But David Carradine was at the comic book convention that was held inside one of the convention halls on the fairgrounds. And I actually went, got an autograph from him. Couldn't, said, nice to meet you. Got an autograph. The end. Nothing else to that story. The other one, it wasn't the big Orange County fair, but it was like a sort of smaller fair where they also had some celebrities there doing celebrity signings. I mixed up those two memories.
Gotcha.
Because, why would you have elephant rides and pony rides in a comic book convention? But they did all this same stuff. They had a Christian music festival there. All kinds of stuff happened at the Orlando County Fairgrounds. They say what happens at the Orlando County Fairgrounds stays at the Orlando County Fairgrounds.
Dan, did you end up getting the pony or elephant ride?
I did ride the elephant, yes.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I didn't.
Do you have any pictures?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, sorry.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Oh, well. Anyway. So Cornerstone, Florida used to happen at that same place. It only happened for a handful of years. Here it is in 2005. I was not at this one, but I did see Relient K the year after this one. I'm going to skip ahead about a minute and a half into this video. Yay, the song's over, they all cheer. Hoops is taking this moment to tune his guitar.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta prep for the next number.
And we know that it's exactly 10:21 p.m. according to the VHS. It's still Dave singing. It's like mostly Dave singing in this song, it turns out. And I don't know if that's a big difference on the studio version. Although that is Thiessen singing right there. That's Thiessen singing the screamy part. Well, and now it's Dave singing, and Thiessen is just screaming. He's going, ah, rah, rah, and it's Dave singing the lyrics, so... There you go. Very versatile song. Seems like they could do whatever they wanted with this song. There's a nightcore. Are you interested in the nightcore?
Sure.
Here you go.
Sometimes it's embarrassing to talk to you, to hold a conversation with the only one who sees right through.
Sometimes it's embarrassing to play nightcore for you.
It sounds like a caricature of a child. Like a 1920s cartoon where it's some like 50-year-old dude like, "Hi, I'm Skippy."
Yeah, that nightcore is not as good. There's a second nightcore though. Let's.
Oh boy.
This is just going to be the Nightcore and Star Wars Toxicity podcast from now on. Oh, this is about the same. Yeah, that one's not as good, but it seems like it's the exact same speed. So then someone did something called a short edit. They like cut down the end of the song.
They made a radio edit for us.
Yeah, they cut down 11 seconds off the song.
I thought you were going to say 11 minutes, and I'm like, oh, they just got rid of Deathbed.
I
nice.
did start to say 11 minutes. So this is uploaded by Marty Radical 5 years ago that wrote, "I do not own this. This song and cover art belongs to Relient K and their label Goatee Records. Oh. I did do editing on this song. The last part of the song is super repetitive, and I was getting annoyed by it, so I made it shorter. If you feel the same way, I hope you enjoy this edit. This song was edited using the amazing free program Audacity." And then there's a link to Audacity.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, I can tell how they cut down the... I can't tell exactly where they did the edit. So yeah, that's pretty good. I can't hear the edit right there here in the room while we were listening, but they did cut down the "Let Me Embrace Salvation" part.
Can't see the line, can you, Russ?
I know what that's in reference to. Hold on, Vitamin String Quartet. So now we move on to covers, and here is the Vitamin String Quartet's version of "I Am Understood."
No idea what song this was.
I can tell. Let's skip ahead a little.
Now I can tell. Play the Suzanne Weezer part.
The what?
Here it is. They make it a little less Weezery. The Vitamin String Quartet.
Oh, right. I forgot the Susanna Weezer part. Oh, this part's pretty creepy.
Yeah, this is. Some creepy atmospheric stuff going on there.
But then when the violin or... That's... I don't even want the high string to come back in.
Dark Vitamin String Quartet. They were going through something.
This sounds beautiful and scary. How are they going to do the cool pop punk little Decline-esque thing?
It's like we just went from the wedding to the funeral.
Oh no. Sounds very MIDI. Even though I know they don't use MIDI, apparently. Well, oh wait, we gotta hear how they do the scream part. Hold on. Okay. It's pretty good. It's okay. So here's two girls in a church, like a real pew church with like psalms, like a psalm number board on the wall. Like this looks like this looks like a much more orthodox sort of church. At least the facilities were built for a more orthodox denomination.
Could just be an older church.
Could be an older church. And they're going to do...
Not everyone is like you and goes to like weird churches and industrial buildings. I had never heard of that until I met you.
I think I would assume that like 80% of our Christian listeners have had experience with churches in industrial parks.
I don't know, Danny.
Anyone who sees right through this version of myself I try to hide behind. I'll bury my face because my disgrace will leave me terrified. And sometimes I'm so thankful for your loyalty.
So this is uploaded by David Vogue, although I don't think either of them is David Vogue. There's no I guess I don't know that, and there's no description, but it says Jess R 12 years ago said, "This is my favorite, good job." And then Joyful Shoot said, "Chords please." And Guitar Girl said, "Thanks." So I guess Guitar Girl is one of the probably the one playing guitar.
Oh, you looked into my life and never stopped, and you're thinking of my thoughts. You're so simple, but so beautiful, and you reset my words right back to me before I even speak. You let me
And when she solves a mystery.
I am understood.
I just want to hear them rock out right here.
You're the only one who understands completely.
They just start screaming in front of the whole congregation.
Knows me yet still loves completely.
People start throwing holy water.
Not the place I'm at.
Oh, they didn't do the dun 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 dun. Dun. They skipped it. Oh.
Yeah, so this song has some elements of Softer to Me and a little Nancy Drew in there.
Is it a little Nancy Drew, a little Softer to Me, and little Never Underestimate My Jesus? Which I know is not the name of the song, but everybody calls it that.
Yeah.
Well, guess who's back yet again? Second time since I Need You.
My voice cover of I'm Understood.
Yeah.
Bobby Moon's here.
Bobby!
We're having it's like
He still hearts biters.
This must be from the same day. But what are the odds that we picked like two songs in the same like 2 weeks that clearly he did these vocal covers on the same day?
It's funny.
So here's Bobby Moon's vocal cover of I Am Understood.
Sometimes it's embarrassing to talk to you. The holy conversation with only one who sees right through this version of myself I try to hide behind. And I'll bury my face because my disgrace will leave me terrified. Sometimes I'm so thankful for
our neighbors would be like, "What's this guy downstairs just singing?"
The mistakes I make will spoil me. Confidence is innocence.
It really sounded like he said the sex we make will spoil me.
Realize you're all of the make will spoil me. Because my disgrace will leave me terrified. Sometimes I'm so thankful for your loyalty and your lovely godly soul. The mistakes I make will spoil me.
No, he said it right. I feel like that'd be quite an addition if he had said it that way.
Never stopped, and you're thinking all my thoughts are so simple, but so beautiful.
Here's a different vocal cover he did. I don't know why only some of the Bobby Moon stuff comes up for me,
I want to hear him
and
do
other
the
ones
shouty
don't.
bit.
Oh yeah, this is a different vocal cover by Bobby Moon.
Yeah, he's wearing a hoodie now, a striped hoodie.
With only one who speak, you let me know I am understood. You're the only one who.
And he doesn't do the scream part there. Okay, so
man.
we gotta go back to the first cover I found, and not that second one I switched to. Okay, let's see. Here's
To me, before I even speak, you let me completely.
Oh, he doesn't do
You're
it.
the only one who knows me and still
Wow.
completely.
Oh man.
I'm kind of bummed. I really thought we were going to get the screams from him. I want to hear somebody do the screams in a cover.
Okay, let's see. I mean, I didn't give those two girls a chance. Let's go back to those two girls. We're bouncing all around today. Let's see what they do.
I thought you played that part. And you were bummed because they didn't.
No,
like,
I was
commit.
bummed. I was bummed that they didn't do the NoFX little breakdown with the guitar. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun, dun.
gotcha.
But no, they don't do the screaming part either. Of course not. They're in a church. But we should have heard the applause for Guitar Girl. You hear the mom holding the camera go,
All right.
So let's see. Who do you think's going to do the screaming part? We got Tavish Carey Music doing an acoustic cover. We've got Say Geisy doing an acoustic cover. And we've got Hai doing a female ukulele cover.
Oh, man. Let's just do the ukulele cover.
Don't let us down, Kai. Or Hai.
Sometimes embarrassing. Talk to you. Hold a conversation with the only one who sees right through this version of myself. I try to hide behind. I'll bury my face, 'cause my disgrace will leave me terrified. And sometimes I'm so thankful for your loyalty.
I love that the
love
kind of
it.
timing and phrasing is
Yeah.
being played with here.
Love
We were both bobbing our heads.
Yeah. I also really like her dress or her shirt. I can't tell if it's a dress or a shirt.
regardless of the mistakes I make will spoil me. My confidence is innocence, gifts you've given me, but I'm satisfied to realize you're all I'll ever need. She looked into my life and never stopped. You're thinking all my thoughts are so simple.
Now I'm going to skip ahead to about 30 seconds left in the song and see what we get.
You looked into my life and never stopped. You're thinking all my thoughts are so simple, so beautiful. You recite my words right back to me before I
I don't know, we got 10 seconds left.
let me know I am understood.
Her background gives me like major Zoe Deschanel vibes. It's like grandma's paintings in the background, very hipstery.
Well, we can just quickly breeze through the last two covers because nobody seems to want to do the screaming part at the end. No one wants to do the Mini Softer to Me cover.
Well, they have to be protecting their vocals, Dan, you know. Forget about Teason and Dave.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to
hi.
the Outlet Podcast channel. My name's Gazy, host
Gazy.
of the Outlet Podcast, and
This is
it's
Say
awesome that you're
Gazy.
listening. I'm
S-A-Y
doing some acoustic covers
Gazy.
right now.
G-E-I-Z-E.
And I'm putting them via two media, audio and visual. Dual wielding.
Nice.
Either you
Okay,
can-
we're going to skip ahead to the last minute of Gazy's cover.
defense, let me embrace salvation. The noise has broken my defense.
Oh, here you go. He's doing
There we
it.
go.
So let's go back a little.
Yay!
Gazy coming in for the win 5 years ago. I didn't say, but that ukulele cover's from 12 years ago.
You let
So here we go.
It's so simple, but so beautiful, and you recite my words right back to me. Before I even speak, you let me know I am understood. The noise has broken my defense. Let me embrace salvation. The noise has broken my defense. Let me embrace salvation. The noise has broken my defense. Let me embrace salvation. The noise has broken my defense. Let me embrace salvation. The noise has broken my defense. Let me embrace salvation. The noise has...
Awesome. Very good. Well, I'm looking at Say Gazy's YouTube channel, and it seems like he's a Christian anime fan.
Nice.
Because he's got a video called Remembering Neon Genesis Evangelion and My First Anime Convention, MegaCon.
Oh, I thought he was just a fan of Christian animes.
No, I think but then he's got another video called Solely and Holy Church Musicians and Solely and Holy Episode 3, Salvation. So he's a Christian and an anime fan. And then he's got a video on church shaming, and I love this thumbnail because it's him. It's called church. The video's called Church Shaming, and then in the thumbnail he's putting his hands up in worship, and then also there's a Power Rangers doll there putting its hands up in worship.
It's like praise and worship Luigi.
Yeah, exactly. I made a meme way before I started making memes all the time called Praise and Worship Luigi. I had a Luigi toy who had his hands up, and he looked like he was praising.
I thought that it was the thumbnail right below it is of him in a car, and I thought that like he was just gonna drive around and shout at churchgoers and shame them.
Whoa! Well, this is our last cover. This is Tavish Carey music. And he didn't do the screamy part either. So moving on, we'll close up with the thing you've been looking for weeks. You've been asking me about this for weeks, and it never comes up. And there's all these songs where you like, but the lyrics are perfect for a shipping video. Where are the shipping
video to this?
We have a shipping video to this.
I wasn't even going to ask on this one.
Well, who is your favorite couple, non-canon couple in the Harry Potter universe? Of course it's Draco and Luna. Who else could it be? They would have the most blonde, white-haired babies in the world. So this is uploaded...
Fantastic.
I feel like they're going to have a lot less Luna footage than Draco footage.
Yeah.
So, this is uploaded by Lady Angel.
Nice.
And then it shows Luna in the lion costume that she wears at one point, like edited to make it look like she's staring at Draco while she's in her lion costume.
Oh my gosh. It's fantastic. And then they showed Harry looking sad.
Harry's upset. He's like, well, I like Luna. Yay, they're looking at it. There's frame cut. There's like, they cut multiple frames together to make it look like they're turning to look at each other.
Fantastic.
Like different over-the-shoulder shots. Digitally composed on top of each other. And then I just realized that... I don't know what that dialogue attempt there was. So I realized it's in black and white with this... ribbon of purple around the top, probably to hide the composites. Luna and Draco forever, I say. And then the classic shipping video, which never come up.
Shut up. Hilarious.
It's Xena Warrior Princess and what's her face, the blonde lady, her squire or whatever her name was. I don't
know.
Really know.
I've never seen Xena.
I've never seen Xena either, but this is like the classic original lesbian ship. Like before the word shipping, have we talked about this? I feel like we have. But the word shipping factually comes from the X-Files community of the late 90s. They were the first ones to say, where fans were like...
I mean, they are getting really cozy in this video I'm currently watching.
But this is probably... I think Xena is like the original, it wouldn't be queer baiting, because they actually kind of acknowledge it a little bit. But what would be the thing, like...
Close enough.
Right, it sort of is. Like, the writers of Xena, especially since it was not a network show...
I thought that was a different actress, but I think her hair is just different.
the writers of...
Not Lucy Lawless, the other one.
I'm not a big Xena fan. I've seen a handful of episodes on television at the
Stop,
time.
you write fanfic for these two. Oh my gosh, now she got an even shorter, like, haircut.
But this was a syndicated show, so it wasn't tied to a network. So they could do almost whatever they wanted within the confines of what's allowed on aired television, because it'd be up to each individual network to air it or not. So I believe that the writers of Xena understood the fans who wanted their two main characters to be together in a lesbian relationship. So they purposefully never, like, rebuffed that or anything. Or that's not a word.
Good for them.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that, like, the last season of Xena, like, crazy stuff happens, like
they're like, fuck it, it's the last season.
Yeah, like, I think it gets really wild, because, you know, it's produced by Sam Raimi.
Oh, they're reaching out to each other.
The show is produced by Sam Raimi.
Oh, wow, I did not know that.
So, I believe in the last season, like, she goes to the future.
Oh,
and,
wow.
like, there's an episode that's set in, like, a writer's retreat for the show Xena. There's all kinds of nutty stuff that happens in the last season. But this is, like, yeah, they're the original lesbian ship.
Nice.
And, like I said, before the word
Xena
shipping
just
existed.
got hit with something. Is she gonna die?
Are you going to start watching Xena now? Are you,
No.
are you compelled?
You know, it's funny. Like, years ago, when it came to Netflix, I was like, oh, I hear about this show a lot, and I never tried to watch it, and I like sci-fi stuff. Let's try this. And I put on the first episode, and I was like, no. No. It's like, just not hold up. I can't do this. I did the same thing with Dawson's Creek.
Right.
It's like, I hear a lot about this, and it came to Netflix, so I was like, let's give this a try. And I was like, nope.
Well, that's Am I Understood? And I guess Xena was not
I am
understood by
understood.
you. Ah, that was I Am Understood.
Now, Dan,
And Xena was not understood by you.
I did watch The Adventures of Hercules.
You did, really?
No, I'm just kidding. Just know that
kinda
they're connected
surprised.
somehow. Is one a spinoff of the other or something?
No, they're just kind of like set in the same universe. They're the original Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Gotcha.
So that is I Am Understood. I got it.
You did.
I got it. So Jessica, do you like
Yes.
this song more, less, or the same? It's quite a conundrum, because even though I love this song, I was getting a little tired of it. It is a little overlong for me after a while, and it like takes me. It's like I'm just waiting for that middle part, that no effects part in the center of the song, and
It's the wording that I can't, that I'm like, it's like I never thought about this song before, so I cannot necessarily like it the same.
so we'll go with the Punkos Pod thing. Hell yeah or yeah nah?
Yeah, nah.
Yeah nah. Okay, well I like it the same.
Okay.
So I'm hell yeah. And yeah, we're taking next week off.
Yes.
So we'll have a free Patreon episode. Am I understood? No.
I am understood.